welcome everybody in the audience and those of us upon the stand. I think we're all aware of who we are, so we'll just keep proceeding on if that's okay. We're going to have an opening prayer by Stephanie, and then the pledge of allegiance will be led by Commissioner Pearson.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful that we could be here today to talk about the needs of Beaver County. We bless that we can have our spirit to with us in decision making and bless those in our county. We bless that we can have a good day and all will be well in the favor of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We'll hand out the bills. You can look at the bills and we'll anything on the bills that are, I mean, they're all kind of straightforward, they aren't they?
I wanted you to get on it.
Yeah, click together, huh?
Oh, yeah, I do. That was me, honestly. Yeah, no. Like when somebody gives you like a police card that opens the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jones and DeMille, the river study, was that, which river study is that on? Is that the one we just did or the next one?
Version down.
Oh, okay, okay.
Flat.
It's a grant.
Okay, thank you.
Was it a final thing that we're supposed to give us a design, was it in the? I know the utility for that, I don't know. A feasibility study? Maybe they didn't, I'm not sure.
You can scroll me down a little bit more, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Okay. questions with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, next item of business is approve the March 2023 meeting minutes. Those were sent out to us, I think. We got a chance to view those.
They're doing good.
Any questions or concerns with that? I do like it. Looks good.
So the only one that I noticed was the second meeting in March. I think we had Vaughn as the legal, and I think Leo was there that day.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I'll get that, sorry. Oh, good catch.
Those lawyers are all the same. Well, let's give Leo credit. He was there, right?
Yes, Leo was here that day, yes,
Okay,
yes, he
I will
was.
get that.
That is a good catch. I read all the others, I didn't really, I don't know. Maybe I thought you were here too.
Thanks for looking out for the lawyers. Appreciate it.
You guys were testing me, hopefully I passed.
What was that, Steph?
This is the one for the emergency meeting.
Oh,
I sent those to Ginger and she put them in format, and it was pretty short, but
okay.
if you want to look over those real quick. Ginger was absent that day at training in Ogden.
She was excused, yes.
Yeah, she was working other places, not at the.
We
Yeah.
called her, but she was like, wait a second, I'm not, okay,
Yeah, I'm
never
not
mind.
either.
All right, scroll down a little bit again, please.
Nope, no, sorry, I got like two.
That's good.
Go back up to the top just to hear. Did you have everybody listed that was there?
Yes.
Not in it,
I always attach their,
Not in the appendix, right?
No,
Yeah, but I
no,
attached
just,
it to the, like, we put it in a book, but that sheet was attached.
you had a full house. There was a lot of people here. The Facebook column was successful. Or post or whatever.
Surprising how that works. It really does work.
Well, I think everybody's kind of just waiting.
Like they said, they were kind of waiting for.
Watching for
Yeah,
any kind
they
of
were
news.
looking for something, so it was good.
All right, any other questions on the minutes and March? No,
No, with that correction, I make motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, make unanimous. Public defenders, that's gonna be on Zoom? Able
Yeah,
to,
she won't be on until about 9. I can see
okay,
she's
that's
there.
fine, that's okay. We'll go down, let's see. Do we have any old business? Nothing really? Do you have anything you want to, commission updates you want to discuss real quick?
No, we got, had a meeting yesterday on WIR and public land. So that meeting in May is gonna be, some of it's really good, some of it is just, I don't know, NACO doing what NACO does because you have to discuss things.
Right.
It doesn't concern us, but, I'm gonna be doing the wildfire breakout session, and so I gotta make connections with Corey and Jared and these guys, and the state sheriff stewardship team, so we'll be presenting on that, and then, there's 2 new things just hit. Friday is, on the Federal Register with Interior, it's called the Conservation, I can't remember what they call it, but anyway, they're trying to go through rulemaking and, change Flipman. Well, no, Flipman is the Federal Land Management, Policy Act that mandates what goes on Johnson from Flipco, the governor's office. They're gonna go do the governor's, they call it state consistency review, because they have the authority from the state level to, I don't know what they call it. It's an assessment on what the rulemaking is trying to do compared to the congressional law that Flipco is. Because rulemaking can't supersede congressional, right? And so everybody's really worried about it, but whoever the attorney is that wrote this was very clever and found a little loophole possibly that they can get it done. So it's pretty scary knowing what happened in a lot of the wilderness areas where there's no roads, there's no way to fight wildfires, there's nothing. They're just unmanaged wilderness. And Beaver County has several wilderness study areas, but it's basically the exact same thing as wilderness because you can't touch it. And in order for them to come off of the list, it has to be a congressional act to get them off the list.
These are on federal lands.
These are federal lands. And so one of the bigger issues on top of that is the success that they've had with the monuments, designated giant acreage of monuments. Our wilderness study areas are actually on the Red Rock Wilderness Act that Sue is trying to push. And if our president decides to, single-handedly put that, we're stuck with the same thing. We're going to get just like Washington County's got it too. King County and Garfield, and we'll have those, will be permanent. Anyway, there's a lot of things going on the national level. And then the national conference is in Texas in July. Does not sound like fun at all, but
Nice and muggy. Nice to see you.
I've never been to Texas, but in July it just sounds miserable, but I have to because I've got it, that's one of my, that's the county, that's the National Public Conference. And then I've also got, that Wild Horse and Burro Advisory Board meeting, and I'm thinking it's gonna end up in June. We've got it penciled out, or calendared out, the last week in June. I have no idea. I think they'll probably postpone it or do something. They can't quite get the crowd together. So, that's probably all we need to know from me.
Okay.
Other than yesterday, the governor was here in town, and that was awesome. He did a great job at the school. I think he spoke about preventing suicides and that we need kids to stay. This is a permanent fix for a temporary problem, and just mental health in general, and the new law they passed on social media. So it was really good, and I think it's very well received. I think he had, I'll bet you there was upwards of 250 kids standing in line to get a picture with him. He was there for what?
He was there for a while.
30 minutes at least.
Yeah.
I do like, sorry to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
I really like he talked about social media stuff a lot, and that deal. I think that's huge for society and for kids especially, and for the world. I think, and he talked about, which I didn't really realize, is that we allow 14-year-olds to give out data and sign up for stuff that you don't do anywhere else.
Right.
The social media can do that, so it's just not right. So it's a huge game changer, I think, for the whole entire world, which you talked about a little bit. So kudos to the legislation who did that and got that going. So that's going to be huge. So I thought it was awesome. I think kids loved it.
I think the kids loved it. It was really good to see them engaged.
Yeah, and he really engaged with those kids, and he showed those kids that he's just a person, and he was from a small town, and he worked in a small town, and he's done great things, and they can do great things. So he really engaged really good with those
I
kids.
love that he comes in jeans and boots.
Yes.
I think he got a Beaver hat out of it too, didn't he?
Yeah, they give him a Beaver.
Yeah.
So next year, because he can't go everywhere. He's doing the 29 county tour. So So next year he'll do the high schools and could,
Right.
next year he'll come up
He'll
with
rotate.
and go to Milford.
Right.
But, there's a lot of counties that have multiple high schools. And it's just hard because he spent, what, an hour and a half here at least.
I know he was a parent before us.
Yeah.
And he
And
had
then they
one
went to
before
high
me.
school.
And he went up to Junction, yeah.
And then I got him, I was a little worried about time frame, so I went and got him some lunch and said, we got a visit with him, and they actually had a little bit more time than we thought, so we had a good visit with him about, and they love the creamery. He says normally he comes in incognito with his ball cap, nobody knows who he is. Yeah, yeah, and I said, do you have a favorite? And he goes, yeah, I was the rib sandwich. Okay. He nailed it, but his team was great.
Well, that's, I think it just improves his leadership, he comes through the area, do this kind of stuff. So, good stuff. Okay, you want to get Candace on? Is she on?
I emailed her, maybe Vaughn can talk a little bit till she gets
Okay.
on. I don't know.
Yeah, Counselor, you want to?
Absolutely.
I
How
have
about that?
it right here.
Yeah, so it's actually in the packet. You can find it. It's at the end of, just the minutes, I guess, in Ginger's minutes. And so you'll see on page 1, the purpose is to give us access to some federal money that allows two things. Number one, more money to pay for public defenders, and as part of that, more services that public defenders can offer, specifically in juvenile court. So let's talk about what our public defender does in juvenile court.
She's on now.
Oh, good. I won't steal her thunder. Let's go.
Hang on, I'm gonna plug you in, okay?
Well, let me finish my sentence.
Vaughn's gonna talk for a minute.
Commissioners, you already know that our public defender represents indigent defendants in district court and in our county's 3 justice courts, and you know that they represent juveniles in juvenile court. But what you may not know is that in addition, they represent parents within the juvenile court system who have had children taken away as a result of some potentially inappropriate behavior, dependency, drug addiction, or just abuse or failure to provide for the children, failure to support the children. Sometimes parents have their kids removed, either placed into state custody or foster care. And as part of that process, those are some of the most difficult cases a public defender can handle. When I was public defender years ago, I kind of looked forward to district court because the criminal defendants were so much easier to manage and to get along with than the parents who were facing, the removal of their children. They were fighting tooth and nail to hold on to their kids, understandably, right? When the state intervenes, it's a big deal. And so what this does potentially is gives the county more money to help, number one, pay for our public defender, and then number 2, provide additional services within the juvenile court structure to help our public defender, assist these parents who are going through these proceedings. Candace, how close was I? Oh, can she even hear me? So as you look on page 2 of the agreement, in addition to funding for attorneys, this could potentially also provide funding for paralegals, investigators, peer partners, child support office staff. I guess from our side of things, maybe our one question for her when she's able to see us and hear us is managing the payments. I know that Ginger has faced some challenges in getting the reimbursements that were promised.
No,
Is that reimbursement
It's
from the
coming
state,
from-
or is it from?
it comes from the state.
The State Indigent Defense Commission, who in turn taps into some federal money.
And they submit quarterly, so we should get it quarterly. And they do all the reporting for us. I don't do,
So really,
we just pay for it.
just pay it out.
Yeah, and they report.
Sorry, Candace, I lost you for a minute.
That's okay, I can help.
Appreciate your power.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good morning, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for being on. Go right ahead.
Sorry I couldn't be there
we have Mother Nature to blame for that.
Yep.
You're on, so go right ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I was able to hear some of what Vaughn was explaining. Do you guys have follow-up from me?
So maybe Candace, just review with them kind of the purpose of the agreement, what money might be made available to the county, and then what additional services would be provided through our public defenders to residents of Beaver County through this agreement, through the federal money we would be accessing.
And you're talking about the 4E funding.
Yeah, exactly.
That I circulated.
Page 2 it mentions potential access. Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. I just have a little bit of a delay, but what that agreement would entail is that Beaver County would be entitled to up to 15% of a reimbursement towards money spent on parental defenders and any other resources that you use on reunification. So cases, so that 1515, we'll just work with your office if you agree to it, to submit for reimbursement. The idea though is that it needs to be, when it's reimbursed, it goes back into the same pot rather than a general fund. And so it would, what I see it being used for is eventually building up a bank account to help, you could put that money eventually towards the compensation for a parental defender. And your guys, in your county, you guys share the parental defender works in juvenile court plus obviously district court. But either way, that money can be used to put towards, that contract or compensation. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, partly. I know that our public defender has talked about having access to a social worker, sometimes a paralegal or investigators in the juvenile court system to help assist parents who are within that system. So how would this agreement or this money impact those services?
Sure. So something that we've also been able to implement in the last couple months is we actually have a social worker that is dedicated and can be utilized for Beaver County. And so monies or funds spent towards that, there's a compensation for that. But yes, we would be able to, if for example, a private investigator needs to be used for, where I see maybe more practical places like specific evaluations. Sometimes in cases you have to get, a specific evaluator or a child evaluator to come on the case. And so, first of all, there could be money set aside for Beaver to pay for that, but realistically, I think the IDC would pay for a lot of those. But if Beaver ended up never having to pay for that, you would get compensation for it through this funding.
And for Ginger's benefit, reimbursements would be handled in a fashion that's similar to what we're doing now. Is that right?
I'm assuming. We pay the bills. We don't do any reporting or anything for this contract or anything. I'm assuming that your team probably does some of that reporting for the reimbursement. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll take care of it. And I can do a separate training with you if you'd like. It won't take long, but it's not going to look a lot different than what we've already been doing.
That's what I thought.
So it's a pretty seamless, accounting, I guess. So I had a meeting with Iron County's auditor and the IDC to make sure that they understood it versus just, quick 15 minutes. So if you want to do that, I'll set you up one. Alternatively, we can just send over the reimbursement, and yeah, it should work just, like I said, seamless.
Okay, please, yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Council, have you seen this?
Yes, I've read through it.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we sign this agreement between the IDC and Beaver County, as explained in this document here.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Candace. Thanks for being on today. We really appreciate it.
So
Yeah, sorry I couldn't do that in person.
star as far as I'm concerned. Working hard, fighting hard for our indigent defendants, but also not messing around or delaying or kicking the can down the road. Cases that need to be settled, he's settling. Cases that need to go to trial, he's taking to trial. Very efficient moving cases through our system, and we're very pleased with what Mr. Manuel is doing.
Okay, that's great. And then, Ron, I don't know if you had a chance to meet the social worker yet, but I can arrange to bring her over to your office if you'd like. Her name's Angelica Judd. She used to work with the CJC here in Iron County.
Met her.
And then she
Yeah.
left about sometime during COVID. So we were able to snag her for our social worker, and she's been doing a good job. But if you're interested in meeting or whatnot, but occasionally she will, or I think once a month she travels with Shane to accompany him to the juvenile court for those hearings. So.
Yeah, she's been here already. I've met her. She's great. Yeah, she's
Okay,
very
great. All
valuable.
right. Well, I won't take up any more time. Thank you guys for accommodating me via Zoom, and then I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in person at the next one.
Thank you, Candace.
Yes, thank you, Candace, we appreciate it very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, bye.
Once you sign it, Commissioner, I'd like a copy as well as, if you don't keep the original.
Chief Deputy that way, I'll get you. Do you have our emergency declaration?
From last week.
Our emergency declaration, do you have that copy?
Yeah.
Will you send it down to Les?
Yeah, we need to send it to Les, because he's got to forward it to the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Steve, come on up. And, well, Nick. How are you today?
Good.
Good.
Good morning.
Did you drive the roads today?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
Snowmobile or Husky?
I'm glad you made it.
I offered him a Zoom too, but
Who's
he
that?
braved it. I offered him a
Oh,
Zoom
Zoom,
too.
Zoom.
I'm not too far, so I'll chance it to.
You chance it. Oh, thanks for being here today, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can get on the mountain. Sure. Right, Nick?
Yeah.
It might be tough.
Corey said he's going to start hauling today.
Yeah, they've been up, we started a little bit yesterday, and the snow made it difficult.
Miserable. Yeah.
Plus snow.
Should be used to it now.
Yeah.
All right, if you will, you probably just need to state your name and your organization just for everything.
Yes, my name is Steve Rodriguez, I'm the forest engineer for the Fish Lake National Forest.
Thank you.
I'm Nick Bear, acting district ranger for the Beaver district.
All right, thanks for being here, go ahead.
All right, so, I would just like to, well, let me wait for these, handouts to go around. So, just, looking at the, map, it shows the various phases of the Kent Lake Road, that we've been working on. The white line is the phase that we did in, 2001.
First thing.
Yeah, the first phase we got, gravel put down on about 5 miles. And then, the red line, phase 2, was done last year, and that was about another 5 miles. Our phase 2, we also, put ag chloride down on phase 1.
Right.
Yeah. So moving into phase 3, we're changing gears a little bit, because the cost to haul gravel up to the top of the mountains gets really pricey. Yeah. So in phase 3, what we'll do is we will use the Forest Service contract to mill the orange line, which is about 6 miles. We'll mill that, and then in cooperation with Beaver County, we will be putting mag chloride down on phases 1 and 2.
Nice.
And then the last little part of that is, you can't really see it well, but the asphalt portion of the road, there's a little blue line down there.
Yeah, yes.
soft, spot on that road. And that, after this road work's complete, then our GOA money for Kentwood Road, we'll have used it all up. So if you go to the spreadsheet real quick, if you just look at the bottom portion of the spreadsheet where it says receipts journal, initially, we started with 375, and then we added that 30,000 to cover Usher, and then another 136,000. And then phase 2, we put another 455,000 towards the project, and phase 3 will put another 455,000 towards the project. For a total of 1.4 million.
This has been awesome, by the way. I mean, it was so needed, and I think people have been so happy about it.
Yeah.
Now we don't just wash it off the mountain this year.
Yeah, I know. Well, hopefully it's put down tight enough that it doesn't go anywhere.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
right,
Yeah,
right.
good drainage going
Agreed.
on, so I think
You
it's,
might have some deep, pockets.
it's super nice, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So the last phase, you'll just roll them in and then pack it back in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't have enough money to bag chloride that one.
Okay.
Yeah. But where it's mostly flat on that section,
Yeah.
it stays pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just on those steep sections that,
It's washboardy.
yeah, yeah.
So does this, does it have to go out to bid again for phase 3?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what, I'm not sure if it's done out of there, it's core.
Linda said after this meeting, he will send it out to bid, and then in the next meeting, we'll open the bids. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So he's coming on the 18th to open bids.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And that'll be, primarily to, spray the mac chloride on phases 1 and 2. And, well, no, I think Corey said he's doing the chip seal, and contracting the soft spot in there. I believe that's taking place.
Might be August.
I was gonna say, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on the weather, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
gonna
is.
start.
I think.
Snow melt, yes.
So we've made the agreement good through 24, which is good.
That was wise.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we might all be contending with a whole lot of snow things.
Repair work.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, so if we got it broken out to next year, it'll be that, but at least within the agreement, we'll be covered.
So is there room for, like, repair work if there is flood damage and stuff, or is that, because for sure you want to maintain the integrity of what you've already got there, but,
you know, we could probably work some changes into it.
or does that have to be an emergency application?
You know, if it's minor stuff, then we could probably handle it within the contract, but if it's major, then it's something else that we'll have to sort out. In other words, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I want to go off topic for a minute, if that's okay. Looking at that little teeny tiny blue section of the asphalt that connects Gateway 153.2, I guess it's Little Res.
Yeah.
Long term, are there any plans to extend that asphalt maybe further up the mountain?
We've talked about it, and if there was more money, we could just entertain that. I know, at least to get us through the steep sections, that would help. It would be beneficial to
think it's good, but then some people, they got a highway, but they go faster, instead of,
Right,
you're in the hills, so.
Our major traffic areas, I think, are up through Tusher Lake, maybe Kent's
Yeah,
Lake.
yeah.
It'd be really nice to have it paved at least that far, because that's where we're getting.
and that's a pretty good road right now, and people.
It is.
People fly. Now that the road's improved, I was really
They do drive
surprised how
faster.
people
Yeah.
drive that now.
Yeah, that would absolutely be a downside to it.
And the type of cars there's on it too.
Yeah.
Probably the most desired, you know, because you see trucks and stuff, and you're seeing small compact cars on it, it's like, should that be here? It's probably not.
I guarantee you, they're not gonna make it up there very soon.
Yeah.
And I think balance, we want a good road, but we don't want a fast road.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it is a very good, I mean, it's a very nice improvement, so thank you for doing that, getting it done, it's huge, so
Well,
thank you.
thanks to the county for
Yeah.
working with us.
We're totally happy.
Yeah,
with
we
that.
love it, so.
Yeah.
Counselor, have you seen this agreement by chance? Do you wanna look at it?
Similar to what we've done before.
Yeah, it's
Probably
same
very
thing.
similar to
It's
this
probably
one.
the same as before, yeah.
Was this in the packet, staff?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I did look over it.
Another thing is that so this was funded with the Great American Outdoor Act Fund, and, they expire in 25, but, you know, Forest Service is, you know, in favor or hoping that, they're reauthorized, for another 5 years. So, if they are, then possibly at that time we can talk.
Are we eligible though, I know this was a 3-year contract, but are we eligible to extend another, or amend the application for another year or two?
Well, when we submitted projects, they were very site specific, so all of the funds, all of the GOA funds are all tied up in the projects that we already selected, so we couldn't.
You'd have to just reapply, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming Corey's been involved in the discussions.
I think he's heavily involved.
I was accepting him, but I don't come to him quickly, so he's probably out to push his nose somewhere.
Yes.
He's locked in today.
Yeah, I'm a little busy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Along with this, we got like another 1.2 million that's gonna go into the campgrounds.
Oh,
Road
really?
work in Kent Lake and Benton for most of the corridor.
Oh,
Detailed
nice.
out.
That's
Should be
great.
coming this year, possibly next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought that up, because, the fence to keep the cattle out of the campground, that should take place this year. And then Kent Lake, basically redoing everything in Kent Lake.
The road needs to be done because of the erosion problem. It just
Sure,
all
just water right down that,
Right.
yeah.
And so that's currently being designed by, our, designers in the regional office. And then the plan is to reconstruct it in 24, I believe.
That's great.
So it'll, you know, just make the better site for the campground, some of the same spurs, widen them, maybe, new site furnishings.
Well, the whole mountain looks, it's just amazing. I mean, it's kind of funny, in fact, we talked about it a little bit yesterday when the governor was here. That sheriff stewardship project up there with the flood potential that we've got, or facing, I should say. Super happy that that's completed. And then, you know, UDOT's done a pretty good job on that new road and hopefully get some new things up on top. And, I mean, it's really bringing the mountain together. It's a beautiful mountain.
Yeah, I've got amazed by all the work that's taking place.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. It's kind of a gem or a jewel for Beaver County.
That is, it's definitely not hidden anymore, so.
That's always a catch when
That's, yes, I mean,
Right.
thank you for coming. Do you guys have any other questions for him?
Do we need a motion?
Anything else from you guys?
I got another update about the flood and the river stuff. I don't know if it's time or later. but
Go ahead.
Yeah.
The forest soup said we can't authorize the cat in the stream bed without the proper NEPA and permits, but I don't know if there's better ways to protect the road without getting think BLM is, I talked to Paul a little bit this morning, they're on kind of the same thing, as we can clean stuff out, but as far as altering the stream, it may cause more problems or different problems.
I don't think that the intent was to alter the stream, it's
No.
just to change.
Clean it out.
To clean out what's there, and those sandbars that got dumped in there in 2019
Fallen
is
trees.
what altered the stream.
Yeah.
So that's what changed the whole stream pattern.
So that's what came from Mike yesterday, so I don't know if there's more to come or what. They wanted to relay that on, so.
Okay.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll ask for forgiveness later.
Don't tell anybody, okay? All right, yeah, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to accept this road agreement between the county and USDA Forest Service, Fish Lake National Forest.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, make it unanimous. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys, I appreciate it.
I'll email that to you in London.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, I want to thank her, because she's always on top of the paperwork.
Good job.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
All right, Leanne. Come on up. How are you this morning?
Good morning. So, when we had our outside auditor, come and we were talking about the 750, you guys asked me to bring it presented to you so you could see what he was talking about. So that's what I'm doing today. So on the blue sheet that you have is just a summary of the ones that Beaver County collects on. The first one is one I'm going to kind of just skim through, and that's the general collection. As you can see on the left-hand side is the values. Real, and then central is our state assessed and personal property values. Then tax rates, because personal property is collected before tax rates are set, we use last year's tax rate to collect personal property. Then I have to adjust it in September. So you can see what the taxes were charged on the right-hand side. And then on the subject relief, that's how much unpaid taxes was short for the county general. The abatements are your veterans and your indigent. The other is the adjustment through personal property and the different revenues, and it also can be BOE changes. Then down at the bottom is where I have to refigure the personal property collection and go off this year's rate. So some entities are short money because their rate went up higher, and some are overpaid and have that taken away from them. So it washes out in my 750 with a zero balance. The motor vehicle revenue, the miscellaneous collection that we collected for general operations is our car and bus money, which is your portion plates, your semi-trucks, the buses that go through. That's what is in miscellaneous. Our rail car money is in miscellaneous, and interest earned that has to be divvied out to the entities. And then you have your delinquencies and your redemptions, interest, and penalties that collect for the general account. The bottom, the CDR, is how much we paid out for the operations for Beaver General. And then the total net money that I received for our general account is the $2,350,000. So you'll have one for the library, you have one for the health and the tax collection. And that's kind of just a summary of it. Then I gave you the big granddaddy, which is overwhelming, but that's all the entities on the spreadsheet. But I felt like the ones that you would be interested in are the simplified ones that are put on the state side. So that basically is how we collect our revenue and payout. I did run my delinquent totals for you just so it's an FYI. Right now we have $4,467,451.99 that is delinquent on our tax roll books. That's 5 years. After the May sale, hopefully with all the collection, we will only have $103,346.78
and that's 5 years of delinquent taxes. Well, it'll be only 4, because we'll get rid of the fair. That's real property.
Real.
Well, and the money.
Right.
So, in reality, once we get through this May tax sale and get that collected, we will only have $103,000 that's out on our books for all the entities, and that's pretty awesome when you only have 8,000, you're collecting a little over 8,000 tax notices. So I just wanted to just kind of give you that FYI, and all, as you can see on the collection rate for the general, we're at 94.86, so 95% collection, which I feel is really good. Some areas are 97, mine are still pretty high. They have a good collection rate, but overall, I think we're in pretty good shape.
So who's got the lowest collection rate in the county?
This would be the lowest. Well, you know what?
You said Minersville's pretty good.
Minersville-
I want to see Minersville, Milford, Beaver, who's winning.
Minersville
curious.
is looking pretty darn good because, you know, they don't have so many big, they have one big entity that, you know, they pay all the time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so, yeah, with the ones that you have problems that drops your rates are the big companies that don't pay,
Gotcha.
and then they drop your rates.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have any questions or anything, or? This is why I fill out to the state. I have to have it due the end of March of every year, and that's why I send them to the state and balances with other reports of other.
Just a quick question for me on the
Mhm.
county assessing and collecting levy. What is that? Can you explain that to me a little bit? Just so I-
The county assessing?
Yeah.
So years
Might not-
ago,
might not
the
be
state
necessary.
set up that the county could keep a portion for collection. So the budget, and Ginger can verify too, but this budget was set up for the 4 offices that collect. So Ginger will have a little bit in her office that goes to help with,
Okay.
mainly recorder, assessment, treasurer, because that's what we're mainly working with.
Perfect.
The
Okay.
bigger chunk of it. And it is for wages, for notices and everything, operations and all that.
Okay.
It's to run their offices.
Run the office.
Mhm.
Perfect.
And the state set that up probably 30 years ago,
Perfect.
Or more.
or more.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay.
So, that's what that is, that, and then county money goes right to the county.
Right. Right.
And then we have one that's called the multi-county, the CAMA program. It goes into the state treasurer, but it's to run the assessor's program that he's doing the CAMA. And that was the cheapest way, is everybody donating to the state treasurer, and then they could provide the program after several assessing programs for members, so.
So is there a way, and I know there is, I just don't know how or what, but like when we were trying to do SB 175 and the road money this year,
Mhm.
and we were talking about the sales tax, we had to have done, approved the sales tax, which we did, I don't know how many years ago.
More, yeah,
More
more.
for the adoption. Yeah, but how do we track that? How do we follow that? Because everything that I understand, the entities pay it to the state and then we just get a lump sum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you actually measure that?
So there is through the state, is a SOLA program, and that's who, but I receive my reports from, but mine are just a big lump sum. And then that's
It
what I
doesn't break it
receive.
down.
It doesn't break down who's paid what, who, it does break down what the county portion is and what the state portion is. But I don't have anything that goes back to who pays, and nor do I have that need that I need to look at for myself. So I have never, ever traced it. And the thing that, Hurricane City was asking about, I've never even heard of that, and
Well, see, that's what makes me
So-
curious, because are we missing out on stuff?
I think you're gonna get more money
Because we
on property
have-
tax than you ever would sales tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't disagree, but
And that was mainly that's what they're trying to do with their fire district, is wanting to bump their sales tax.
Mhm.
Beaver City did it with their hospital,
Mhm.
and never brought it down and just kept it up.
Mhm.
And that's when they did the bond for the first hospital.
Mhm.
So Beaver City sales tax, that 1% goes straight I don't,
They're looking at doing something else again because they need so much, they don't need revenue for their roads, they don't have any
well, then
revenue.
I think I guess that's what my question is, you know, we keep talking about all these taxes, but if we have no way of tracking them, we don't know if people are paying them, if we're getting our portion back from the state, like, how do you track that? That's my concern.
I think your solar reports where you give a start. And I know only certain people can even have them.
Right,
They're
right.
privileged reports, so.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, is that your office, you guys' office, or how do we get into those?
I think you guys can have them. I could request them too. I don't know what.
I just do what, I want to just know what the amount is, balance,
The grand total.
yeah, I just do the grand total. I'm not an auditor that goes out and say, okay, did you pay this, did you pay that?
Well, I think
that would have to be a business audit, something like that, I would guess.
And I think it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and I don't know if
I
there's
just don't know
someone
if
in
we're
the state
leaving
that would do that.
money
I'm
on
not
the
sure.
table in the state. Like, how do we make sure we get
Yeah.
our,
Same with your transit room and that too,
Mhm.
you know, and they
Yeah.
can pay quarterly and they can pay
They pay
semi-annually. They can pay annually, so unless you actually have their books audited, or have suspicion, I
And a
don't
lot of them
know.
self-reporting.
Yeah, it's
So how would
self-reporting.
you call someone out on self-reporting? You can't, there's nothing to compare it
Yeah.
to.
And if the taxes aren't doing what we think they're doing, then it gets really complicated.
It's that.
Right, it is. Our taxes have been going up. They really have. We've stayed stable even in 2020, but we've increased,
Yeah.
so.
but it's not because of the assessment, it's just because there's more personal property.
Now that's
Or real estate.
sales tax, I'm just talking sales tax.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, our values have gone up.
Right.
We can see the
Right.
values have gone up, so, yeah. But sales tax, I mean, even in 2020, we were never below what we thought we would be with someone traveling. So,
Okay, well,
Okay.
it looks good, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Appreciate it, thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
Heidi. Come on up. How are you?
I'm good, how are you guys?
Good, thanks for coming.
Good. So I get that mic, I do.
Get that mic next to your
Push it
mouth.
back away.
Come on.
There we go, can you hear me? So, I'm here to talk to you today about, the offices, hours for our offices for the administrative, only. We did some research into a 4-day work week and, came back with some data that we shared with you. The first page that you're seeing is just reports on 4 days of work week and kind of the positives to it, right? You can see 51% of them said that there was reduced costs. 62% have seen a decrease in sick days. 63% feel like it's helped them to be able to bring on new employees, right? Because this is a pro, this is a good thing. 64% have seen increased productivity, and probably the best and the biggest number is the 78% report happier employees. We do have some offices already within the county that are working kind of a flex schedule. Most of the counties that we reached out to that are doing the 4-day work week they're larger counties, right? And so they're doing it in a way that they're working Monday through Thursday, some of them, and then the others are working Friday through. And so they're alternating, they're open and they're alternating. But what we found is here within our county, our cities and our school districts are both closing on Fridays. And so they're doing the 4-day work week. Milford City is doing the alternating where they have enough employees that they're alternating, so it's open that they're alternating. So what we did here within our building is we had lots of discussion between all of the department heads, and also this will include the sheriff's office, the attorney's office, and the justice court out in the other building. Those are our administrative offices there. And we kind of are looking at modeling similar to what is happening currently in your office, which is the half of a day on Friday, which gives us a little bit of flexibility with the employees, so gives them the time off. In doing so, we're going to open earlier. So this building will open at 8 a.m. And that will give the public access to us earlier in the day. So, and the other
offices, the other building will do the same. So our office hours will change, we'll open at 8 o'clock in the morning. So basically, those 4 hours that we're giving up on Friday afternoon, we'll be getting back by opening up at 8 a.m. in the morning. There could be some additional benefit, because we are trying to structure it so that we're open during the lunch hour as well. We do not have, every office doesn't have 3 or 4 employees. So if we have somebody who's out sick, or we have somebody who's on vacation, that's going to leave one person in the office. And so there may be some offices that being open during lunch every single day isn't going to be feasible for. And they may have to close sometimes at lunch because of that reason. They just don't have the coverage, right? We just don't have the people to keep it open. But what we're gaining is what we're giving up in that afternoon on Fridays, we're definitely gaining back in the morning by being open that hour earlier. So it actually gives our people, the county, our taxpayers, it gives them more access to us. If most people start work at 9 a.m., then they'll be able to come in here at 8 o'clock in the morning and take care of the things that they need to get done before they go to work. And then, if we're able, they'll be able to additionally come in during their lunch hour. We'll stagger our lunches so that they can come in during their lunch hour as well. So really, we should actually be giving them more hours, more access when it's all said and done, more hours that were available to them. We would like to offer this, start doing this in May. We would like to take plenty of time to get the information out. We wanted to have a good solid month to be able to get it on Facebook, social media, on our doors, out to the public. We don't want anybody to be surprised by what's happening. We want to be able to get the information out. We'd also like to kind of run this kind of as a trial and see how it goes for us. This building on Fridays can a lot of times be like a ghost town, especially by Friday afternoon. There's pretty much nothing going on in here. It's pretty dead in here. And so this is a way for us to give something to our employees that doesn't cost anybody anything. This doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. This is a way to provide a benefit to the employees without having additional costs for doing that. The other thing that I think this does is I wanted to talk to Vaughn. I think we should probably maybe prepare, if the commissioners are okay with it, we should maybe prepare something to go within our policy to kind of discuss how we're going to do this. Yeah, I think so as well. And then we would have a form prepared that I would send to each office, and they would go in and put their hours and how it's going to be structured, right? So for payroll and that type of thing, we'd be able to monitor it. The other thing it does is it helps us to alleviate comp time. Some offices are already doing this. We know our road department's out of 410. Vaughn's office has a little bit of a flex schedule that they...
Yeah, we stay open from 8 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. What we do different is that we have my employees alternating every other Friday.
Right.
So I always have somebody in my office 8 to 5 every single day of the week.
Yeah.
So I don't plan on shutting down at 5 o'clock on Friday. The system we're using now is working. We've got a public safety component, the county attorney's office, where we've got to be accessible to the district courts, right? But we're doing something similar in that every other Friday, my paralegals are taking turns taking that day off. So
Right.
it's
What's happening with that though as well is that allows for comp time being accumulated to make that work. And under this system, if we just told everybody, hey, you can go to a flex schedule, you'd have half of the people accruing comp time to do that. So by closing a half a day on Fridays, and we're open from 8 to 12 on Fridays, you eliminate the need for comp time, right? That doesn't happen anymore. So in order to facilitate that, we have some comp time. This way we won't have to have the comp time. So,
I wasn't aware that the sheriff or the justice court was going to be joining this. I thought it was just going to be employees in this building.
No, the sheriff's office and the justice court are joining.
There's got to be a way for department heads to opt out of this, because I don't want to close on Friday. My office isn't going to do that.
Yeah,
I'll stay there and work it myself if I have to, because we've got to be accessible to the people. We've got to be accessible to the district court. At least in my office, we can't be shutting down every Friday. It's not going to work for us.
And I think that's what we're talking about as a flex schedule, right? Nobody's office is going to look exactly the same. It's going to be a little bit different depending on what your needs are and what you have. So everybody's office is a little bit different. You already have offices that are flexing anyway. It's just not allowed. It's just not something that we put in policy. They're all working it out individually to flex it anyways. And so this is just saying, this is just putting it, hey, this is available to you are all on board to do the same thing, if that's what we're doing. And I think we should allow that, you know, I think some offices have different needs and different things. And then we try this and we see how it goes for us. We see if it gives the public more access, because they can get in here during different hours than they've been able to before. I know you were excited to think we were gonna be open at 8 o'clock, because a lot of times John said it'd be nice for him to be able to come in.
Yeah, in this building, I mean, we're already opening at 8 o'clock out of the public safety facility. Sheriff's office, Justice Court, Attorney's office, we're there at 8, we close at 5. And so if we're getting the whole county on the same page, everybody in at 5, that does make sense.
So is that, I mean, we need to, is this like a motion thing, or should we just say, I mean, what?
If you're going to approve it, I think we would like to start, we want to get
Are
the
you gonna build out
information out.
policy?
Yeah,
we
we
can
don't,
take back to
we probably ought to approve it formally with the policy change. I would think that
Yeah.
would be when you vote to approve.
Okay.
Can you do a trial basis for a month before you do that, or? I'm not sold on it. I mean, I get it, I understand, and I do think it's a benefit, but, you know, I don't like the commission office is closed at noon, but that's just me.
Sounds like the commission needs to have a conversation about what you want your office to do.
So anyway, I get the benefits, and I know other people are doing it, and, you know, it's a workaround. I don't know.
I'm more of a fan of a Tuesday through Friday, and a Monday, you know, you can alternate
Overlap.
employees that way, if it works that way. I understand why we're doing it, and I really like the idea of being open for lunch, but now there's a few complications of always being open at lunchtime. Coming in here at lunch, it's a lot of times not much going on because everybody's gone, and I like the idea of being open at lunch, but I think there's some logistics we probably should still discuss a little more.
Right, and we have the same issue, right, with the lunch thing that you have with the staggering the 4-day work week. We don't have, like, we don't have offices that have the employees to do that. There's just not we have offices that have one employee, and so they're not able to do a 4-10 and stagger it, you know. So that's the best and, you know, that would be the most desirable option if we could do that. But we have offices that don't have that, and so then if we were going to do something like that, would we want to increase in employees? Do we want to bring on the employees to do that or not? And it probably doesn't make sense, right, to bring on new employees just to facilitate something like that. So this was kind of a compromise from the 410 schedule. This was kind of a compromise to that. But yes, we can definitely work up what it would look like in a policy for you. We were hoping to have like a 30-day notice and start it on like May 1st, so that we had all months to prep and let people know and get the information out. We were hoping to do that, so we can push it back and come to the next meeting maybe with what the policy would look like. And
because what do you do when you have holiday weeks where they already have a Monday or Friday or whatever on?
Right, and when you look at the 410s and everything, that still follows. Like the holiday schedule doesn't change; it still follows, and it doesn't change doesn't change the county's liability at all. It doesn't increase or decrease it at all to do that. And then most of our people are on a 35 day work week, and so and as long as you don't exceed the 40 in a work week, you're not accumulating comp time. 35-hour work week, yeah. And so they'll just flex their schedules around like they'll be alternating their lunches, half-hour lunches. You know, every office will kind of design this so that it works for them. With the goal being, yes, that we're going to try to be open everybody to be open at lunches. But you could have something in an office with 2 people where somebody was sick that day, and you would still need to be able to, you know, close for 30 minutes to go grab something and come back or take your lunch or whatever. If you didn't know somebody called in sick. So I mean, I don't want to tell you something. Every office is going to be open every day through lunch, because where that's the goal, yes, I can't promise that that's going to happen, because we do have a few offices that just don't have the coverage.
Where that's not feasible is the point.
Yeah, right, yes, it's the goal, and everybody's going to try to do it, but whether they're able to do it every single day is another thing where they could have a sick day. You have somebody call in sick one day, you have one person in the office, you know, we're obligated to allow them to have a lunch. We can't say, you know, you don't go to lunch because you had somebody call in
some of those.
And maybe, like you said, maybe each office does their proposal. I think we need to start with the commission
There's gotta
office.
be some flexibility, because it's not gonna work for the county attorney's office, it's just not feasible for us. I can't speak for other department heads, but we can't do it.
And Bob is doing it, but they're just doing it in a different
Well,
way.
yeah, in a way that
He's
works
doing
for
the
our
same thing,
office.
his people are not working on every other Friday, but they're doing it different, so that their office isn't closed. And so, I don't know of a way, I mean, with at two office, with somebody with two people in their office, I don't know how they could, how they could work that out.
I like the alternating Fridays.
Yeah. But it does accumulate comp time.
Yep.
So you're paying for that in comp time.
Yep.
Because you're open those days, so 1 week they're working. And
45 hours.
45 hours, and the next, so they're getting comp, and that 5 hours is a time and a half, and then the next week they're taking the Friday off. And so there's a big accrual of comp time that happens there with that schedule.
But I'm open to the public.
Yeah,
And there's a
absolutely.
public
No,
safety
I know why he's doing it.
accessible to the district.
Absolutely, yeah. So they'll do the pros
So there's
and
a
cons.
trade-off.
I guess we need to kind of look at those public
Yeah.
comp times,
Yeah.
that's kind of, papers are
Yeah.
gonna look at you talking about.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying, like, that's the reason the half of the day is kind of a compromise, is because then we wouldn't be in these administrative offices, we wouldn't be accumulating comp time. To do this is when alleviate the comp time side of it. So, yes, I think we definitely can work on it, we can work on a policy, I mean, all the offices could put together what it looks like for them, and we can submit that so we can see. It's definitely going to be important for when you're processing payroll to know what's happening in each office and what the schedule's going to be.
None of us like change.
Oh,
It's hard to,
Absolutely.
I'm a farmer, there's no such thing as days off, so it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, I used to work 9 to 5, and
Yeah?
yeah, I do.
Fun?
No.
We'd like to know.
That was in between my college years and
Okay.
married life and stuff, but,
The hard thing is things have definitely changed, and there's a whole change, the whole state's on a 4-10 work schedule, Our school district does it, our cities do it, all around us, and so there's some advantages to it, and there's a reason that people like that. And so where it's available and doable, sometimes there's a plus to do it. We're not doing any of the remote work, we're not doing work from home or anything like that. This is just an option to kind of flex our schedule so that we have a little bit more, it's kind of a work-life balance thing, which is probably the reason that Ron's done it, is in his office and made it work, because it's a work-life balance thing for
It's
your
a tough
employees.
job working at the county attorney's office. It's incredibly intense, and my employees need a little bit of time just to be with families and regroup. But on the other hand, I've got to be accessible to the public.
Yeah.
I've got to be able to come down there in normal office hours and see an attorney or see a paralegal. So
But there are times you'll call state offices, county offices, other counties, and there's nobody around.
I know there's nothing
Yeah,
pisses me
that's
off more
true.
than that.
That's true. That's true.
So how can you have
that's
different,
different.
that's really what it's about, right, is your work-life balance. This is just a way to offer a little bit of work-life balance to our employees. We're giving up 4 hours, but we're giving 4 hours back in our morning. And if we give some additional to that during the lunch hours, that was kind of the thing, was that it was a work-life balance, but it was also not something that was going to take away from the community or make us less accessible to the community. It's actually something that's going to potentially make us more accessible to the community and give them that time back. And so we weren't trying to take anything away. We were trying to come up with a way that we could give that back. No department head wanted to do anything that lessened our time for the community. They wanted them to be able to have access to us, and if anything, it was more access, not less access. And so that was the reason it was thought out this way, is this actually gives the community potentially more access, more hours of the day that they can come to us, and hours that might be better for them if they're working 9 to 5. If they could come in here in the morning before they went to work, that could be beneficial for a lot of different people. So that was the thought process. That was what kind of went into the planning and going through and deciding, hey, what does this look like and how would it work? And so, yeah, I'm happy to look at policy. I'm happy to get the department heads to put together what their schedule would look like.
I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
Every office needs to have their input and what that's going to look like. And then then we can.
The logistics of it, how they're gonna make that work.
Yeah, sure, I can do that and get that, and we'll come back to you, we'll just put it on the agenda for the next meeting,
Okay.
and come back
And to be
you.
clear, part of this has been coordinated at the monthly county elected official meetings.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where this is coming from.
Yes, yes, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, do you want me to quickly?
Well, due to time, let's,
Yeah, you
maybe
can
we'll,
if you're ready.
we'll wrap around that, yeah.
Yeah,
Come back
if
to
you have
that.
time, if not, I can
Okay.
respond to review it and come down next.
Absolutely.
Kevin, come on up. I saw you sitting in the back there, trying to hide.
Yeah.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Good, thank you. All right, go right ahead.
Right now, the BLM is involved in this land swap. It's called the Beaver Act, where they're swapping some BLM lands for state trust lands, and Beaver County was included in this action. So we were offered the opportunity to become a cooperating agency. I applied for that status. This is just signing the paper that we will be a cooperating agency with them and going forward in this land swap.
So this has nothing to do with the actual parcels, identifying parcels in the map?
No, this is just the MOU that, yes, we are,
A cooperating partner. So tell us about their project. What is this Emory County?
They are looking to make some, I want to say wilderness areas or take some areas out of production
So
over in Emory
this
County.
is still Emory County, this isn't even
But-
Bears.
No, this is Emory County, I believe.
I thought we already did Emory County.
Yeah, but anyway, with the amount of land that they wanted to do, they decided to broaden their scale and include a number of other counties in this as well, so that the amount of land that they were taking up over there, we will
Go to the
spread
next
it out.
page. There you go. Slightly up a little bit. There you go. Emory County Land Exchange.
Anyway, they are looking to take and swap some BLM parcels in our county, convert them over to state trust lands, which will give the state some flexibility in gaining revenue and give us some opportunities to get some lands swapped over that we would like to hopefully get exchanged. I think the ones that they were targeting are probably not what we want, but that's part of this being a cooperating agency. We want to kind of push them in some different directions.
So I think that's been the problem with being a lot and Sitla to begin with, is they never come down and talk to us. They do their
They look at a
Google
map
Earth
at
and they just
30,000
go
feet.
ding, 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 and it has nothing to do with anything. So it ran my mind that there was only one or two parcels and some of them were clear on Pine Valley or something.
Well, there was one there by the solar farms, north of your property, I believe.
Yeah. Well, that was on the other one. That was on the Bears Ears one. I thought, the way they were talking, but it was
Maybe I'm
sand
getting
dunes.
confused.
That was sand dunes, that's what I'm saying. I thought we'd already done the Emory County thing a couple of years ago, but,
Sounds like it's still going on. So,
There's so many.
yeah, it's never ending.
follow-up question, if this is primarily Emory County puts in it for us, what do we benefit by being a cooperating agency?
Any BLM action that involves your county, we try to be involved.
So this does involve our county?
Yes, it
Yes.
does. There are
And there'll be
parcels, there are
swaps.
counties that are looking to swap.
Got it.
So we applied to be a cooperating agency, this MOU.
So that we have a
just the-
say, yeah.
Just the acknowledgement that we will be.
Got it. Okay.
So, but they're gonna, like, step one of our land swap in our county, it's not down the road very far.
They're in the process of looking at
Okay.
options, looking at parcels. But we want to be there at the table saying, let's look at something different here, this is what we would propose, or this would benefit our county more if you look at these parcels, so.
But
Being
if
at
we-
the table is important.
If we don't sign this, we're kind of not at the table, I guess, is the easiest way.
You're in a position to write letters at the,
Yeah,
No,
but you know how
we
the
have-
saying goes, if you're not at the table, then you're on the menu,
We
right?
have
So
to
you want
do
to be
this,
at the
that's
table.
not what I'm arguing about. My whole argument is, where's the maps, where's the parcels? And we should have been doing, because they signed this he signed it on his way out the door. So, but anyway, no, this is good.
This just came down to us
Yeah.
a couple months ago. I submitted the letter to request
Yeah.
the status. This is just the MOU that we signed to be that cooperating entity.
Yeah, and we want to sign it because we
Yeah.
want to be at the table, otherwise, like I said, we'll be on the menu if we're not at the table, right? So you want to be
Right.
one of the parties discussing.
No, I'll make a motion.
No, don't make it yet, I want to
Okay.
gripe about one. I want to vent a little bit, and then you can make your motion. So you'll see the involved entities, it says this is BLM, Utah State Office, and Beaver County are the parties, right? Then if you'll scroll down 4 pages, Stephanie. 4 pages, to paragraph 8J. Almost there. This is dispute resolution right there. In the event of disagreement between the parties regarding their obligations, that cannot be resolved between the parties in a reasonable time, either party may refer the agreement to the BLM State Director to resolve the issues. Basically, this is their arbitration clause that says if we can't agree, then we'll arbitrate it, and the director of the state BLM office will decide, right? So
Who's he gonna side with?
exactly, right? So it's
Well, as long
basically
as
whatever
Greg's
they
still
take
there,
out.
he'll fight with us, but that's
This
not.
doesn't feel like a legitimate arbitration clause to me. However, I realize we ought to sign this to be at the table, so,
Yeah, and I think that this is one of those cookie cutter ones,
I know.
you know, I don't think they're gonna alter it because we don't like, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I 100% agree.
Okay.
Yeah, is
Now
there
you
any
can make your
motion? Okay, I'll make a motion that we sign the cooperating agreement. Or what, that's not what it is.
MOU.
MOU.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, thank you.
I believe you received a letter on a different action here just a couple of weeks ago that we need to apply for status on.
Yeah,
Somewhere that
it
stuff
was
on.
on my stack on the 21st. Wait, you should have it.
Should I?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's actually on paper, so where we stacked yours.
How did I get on paper?
So it came in the mail, and then that week I was absent on March 21st. I gave a big stack for Jen to give to you, so it's in that stack.
Okay.
For you to look at and say, okay, yeah, let's do it.
So I need to get that so I can apply for the next.
Which she
And
didn't know
what's
I
it-
didn't
what's
know.
it-
I don't even, I looked at it, I don't even remember what it was, but it's another action that we need to be involved in.
Okay.
I can ask Paul too, what
Just check
that
with
action
us.
is.
All right, okay, thank you.
They don't need it.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess, and we'll be right back.
You can come in, Ken.
You guys come in.
Which one's Alina? Okay, I don't have any of the other three. Did they send them in? I have Braxton and Sky, so they don't have any other three, any other girls. Did you do them online? We have the application. Yeah. Did you just, okay, so there's a leader from Beaver High School girls that needs to like, get going. Okay.
You talk about the phone, that's gonna be right.
And it's okay. I'm sorry.
Next Tuesday's supposed to be like 70 degrees.
Freak them out, Dad. Show them real well.
Freak them out.
They're not going.
Get it in on time. Get out.
Still be.
that's the way it is.
I mean, it was 2 degrees.
for you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see
Yeah,
that,
they send me down here.
you know, you live in Huntington, you know. You just live in your town.
I tell them they're different. It's not.
Because like that, I live in Ohio, so I don't want to be numb, but I don't want to.
Like to read that one.
I just want to kind of like be like, just like little ways in the middle.
That's true.
If it goes to 50, it only comes down to 35.
It's true. 83.
I'm like, and then it clears up and I can get down. I'm such a wuss about driving in the food. That I'm like,
Lots of water in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I know, I know.
Yeah, Mary couldn't get some miners on the Beaver Head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
And, I remember like 40 acres, for farming down in Minersville one morning turned into 20. 20 acres went down the river. Not underwater. It was just land. I remember.
Some of my kids live, the younger ones don't. Sean, Mary, and Angie, never heard.
Yeah, I was there. All the water had been coming down the reservoir. They took smashed cars and did the car?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, welcome back to the commission meeting where our 5-minute recess is over. So we're now going to have the boys and the girls state if they want to come on up and give us your names and tell us what you're going to do and how this is going to work. Come on up, everyone. Don't be afraid.
Just so you know, I have a few more girls from Beaver High School.
Okay?
They kind of lacked direction this year on like a leader telling them what to do because the current leader has moved. So I got 3 more. They're filling out their applications so they can announce themselves.
Are they going online to do the application?
Yes, they are right now. Yep. And so, but I'll let them speak. I've got 3 of theirs, and those 4 girls are working on this, which is good to see. I was worried there weren't going to be very many.
Okay.
So I'm really glad. We don't have any from Milford this year. So, anyway, go ahead.
Minersville? Yes, okay.
You guys spread on.
Spread on out and just kind of tell us your name and...
Don't be hiding behind me.
We also have Kelton Langston from Minersville, too. He just couldn't make it right now.
Okay. All right, thanks. Go right ahead.
I'm Scott.
Hi, Scott.
I'm Braxton Mulgrew.
Braxton.
David Marshall, Aubrey Marshall, Heidi Harris, Ellie Miller.
Perfect. All right, tell us what you're here to get from us today.
We're asking for, me and Scott are asking for $100 each of us to sponsor us for Boys State, and we'll do 4 hours of community service for that.
Great. What kind of community service you looking at doing? Wow.
What was it working?
Or,
Fairgrounds, willing to volunteer at the fair for us, or some of the other maybe local districts?
yeah, we could do it with that.
Okay.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay, and then we are on to go to Girls State. Girls State is like a one-week camp in the summer that we go to, and it's a political science course where we get 2 college credits to go to. We want to learn more about the government, history, and everything like that. And we're also willing to do community service, like picking up trash in the community, and we love to work at the fairgrounds and for the fair. So we're also asking for help.
Perfect.
How many of you were there when the governor spoke yesterday? All of you? How'd you like that? It was pretty neat, wasn't it? It was a good message. I think it's really important, and I appreciate you guys having the interest to get into this. You know, it seems like not very many people hear anything good about politics, especially on a national level. If you turn on the news, you don't. But on the ground level, on local level, you've got mayors, you've got council members, you've got your own student council and that at the high schools that are elected leaders that you guys have voted for, and hopefully they're the caliber of people that you admire, and they're setting a good example, and the same thing with the local elected people in the county as well. So I'm really excited for you guys to get this opportunity. When I was your age, I tried really hard. I was really involved in the American Legion Auxiliary, but there was about 5 or 6 positions and about 30 or 40 girls looking for it. I mean, it was a big thing back, you know, the olden days. And I never got to go. It would have been really neat. I had a lot of friends that went. And you make lifelong friends, and you get a really good education actually with boots in the ground. Any of you going to run for office? You know that's the thing, right?
They're like, we're not sure you did. Wait. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, so when you get there, you can run for office, and I challenge you to do that. You can, be the dog catcher, you can be the governor or something. So, I encourage you to be active.
Well, after it's done, we have you come back and give a report on how so one of you better come back with,
The governor or something.
Yeah.
Kevin's waving his thumb in the back.
Kevin, go ahead.
I have a project that I need some volunteers for, building our mountain bike course.
There you go.
We've got 3 days, 2 days this month, and 1 day this month, 2 days next month, that we're doing some volunteer work days up there, cleaning up and working on the trail. And it's a project that's designed for the high school mountain bike cycling league. So I think it's something very applicable to you guys.
Yes.
That's available.
He'd be a pretty good boss too, I'm sure he'll bring his gun.
Well, if you guys can plan on that, just connect with Kevin and let's do that, okay?
We'll make sure Stephanie gets you connected.
Let's do that. When is the Boys and Girls Day?
The girls is
June 11th to 16th.
And
They're
where's
kind
it
of
at
back
this
to
year?
back. Are the Weavers again?
Weaver State? Okay. Very good.
Great.
I'm missing Taggart, but he.
Taggart and Kelton Langston.
Yeah. Those are the other two.
Okay.
But they'll have their application, or they already have it, and, okay.
So if you apply, you automatically get to go, or is there a certain, is that how that works, as far as you know?
Yeah. Beaver girls will be interviewed.
Okay.
So you guys are approved, the girls are ready to go, perfect.
Okay.
The guys, you're not so much?
Guys, we did.
You just showed up. Perfect. Good job.
Basically, what they do, and Tammy Fairhurst is the one that runs it in Minersville, but each American Legion and American Legion Auxiliary has so many slots that they can afford, because they also help with the cost share on this. And it's part of the membership, right? Counts on the membership, and that's where your amount of kids can go.
Okay. Well, I'm super excited for you. It should be a great time. Yeah, we do want you to come back and give us good stories, okay? About how to run the government, okay? Sound good?
Yeah, good luck.
I'll get in touch with you when you get back.
Do we want to make a motion to approve that?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you got your $100.
I got a picture. Thank you. I got to get a picture.
And Kevin, you got some workers.
And Kevin, you got some workers.
Okay.
Yeah, sneak in there, guys.
Everybody look good. There we go.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck. Good luck.
Now get back to school. Oh, fluffing. Okay. Flood mitigation discussion for a minute or two.
Kind of need Corey, but he's out.
Oh, Corey, yeah. But I think
we kind of know where
Paul
he's
can
at.
come up. We'll make Paul come up.
You can see his eyes.
Paul and I have this joke that he wants to open a beer and fireworks factory. So I told him we'd have to go to planning.
hospital.
So I will say that we did have an emergency meeting, was that last Thursday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thursday, where we declared a potential risk of imminent
You declared a state
flooding.
of emergency.
State of emergency in Beaver County, due to the potential risk of flooding, which is increasing higher today. And I will say that we did have a meeting that day with many players involved, the Forest Service, the city of Beaver,
It was actually,
BLM.
it's actually an annual planning meeting
Right,
that's already set up. We just kind of
hijacked it for flooding.
hijacked it and
Yeah,
spoke more about flooding instead.
You had some concerned community members there as well.
yeah. I
Well,
don't know.
the original meeting was that morning, was Thursday morning. So that was with Forest Service and Beaver City and UDOT.
You just extended it a little bit longer to have the emergency component.
Yeah.
So from a county perspective, we have been trying to do our part in helping out with that situation. We've had Corey's crew, which has been very, very good, has been in both channels, the North Creek and the Beaver River.
Good.
Working, cleaning out the river, so pulling out fallen trees, branches, stuff that could potentially, go down and either knock out bridges or block off the river to let it back up. So that's been happening on our part. The city is going to also start, I think, the next week. We kind of talked next week about starting up the mouth of the canyon. We have got some agreements with the BLM to kind of just once again pull out the stuff and the trees and not really change the channel, but kind of help prevent and mitigate. Right, we don't want to redirect the channel, and so with that, the declaration allows us to do that to some degree, and it gives us access to funds and some other things to pay for those extra expenses to help mitigate flooding the best we can. I don't know, do you guys have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I don't know, it's like 24 hours a day right now, flood mitigation, but, we want to make sure that people in general are doing their own part on their own property. But we have had several offers from the state agencies. Governor himself had several conversations with him, and he asked again yesterday, to just make sure that people, his agencies are reaching out. And so specifically, we've had Division of Wildlife. They're willing to send people. We've got Forestry and Fire, George and his bunch, a bunch of the Minersville firefighters burnt a lot of the piles down the river, above the fairgrounds. They had all those flash piles from that big cleanup and so they got a lot of those burned. Had one pile kind of got away with them, the wind come up and got into some dry, which it was hard to imagine anything was dry, but some grasses and sagebrush, and had a panic session there for a minute. But anyway, it's looking good, and we've met with UDOT. We're hoping that they'll, the snow season is over and they can help us. Brandon and I actually met with the UDOT director down in the west side of the county, and he's very happy and willing to help, and he's going to be watching like the bridges and the crossings, so if we have log jams and other debris jams there, that he'll be there to clean them out. I tried to pull up this morning what the new numbers were, and Merchant Valley is not running, or was it activated. We put almost another inch on Big Flat, so I think we're at 35.9 inches Big Flat.
Merchant Valley now shows 28.2.
Oh, so went from 27.6 to 28.2. Okay, we'll have some.
Yeah, 28, but that's not why I was standing up. Question I had for the commission, is there a place somewhere, like a website, that explains where we, you want me here, all right, I'll come here.
Might as well sit down and
Might as well sit down and get comfortable. Is there a place, like a website or a list that lists where all the sandbags are? Because it changes, it's quite a fluid process of where the sandbags are, what
We've been posting, and they're in the same places.
in Facebook or?
Facebook.
Where's it all at?
So it's on the Beaver County, Utah Facebook page.
And it's on
It's
mine.
also on our,
share.
You can share.
I'll put it on our actual website, but I even posted pictures the other day. This pile, not this pile, but I need to get the fairgrounds on there. There's gonna be some there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got
Any
two
and Milford.
it's got two semi-loads and a stack of
Some of the
bags
fairground
there.
rodeo grounds.
And then the dumpsters on Holly Lane up here at the, ball fields, the rodeo
I mean,
grounds.
when people call me at 911 or whatever my number is this day, I need to tell them exactly where they can see all this active.
Well, the sheriff office has some too, don't they?
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
the sheriff's office
Northeast
does.
parking lot.
And they're already bagged.
Yes.
Yes, those are back.
Yeah.
They're on, they are.
But you can bag your own at the
Rodeo.
Holly Lane and,
Fairgrounds.
down the fairgrounds.
Also, I know that, there was, I think the scouts, they filled up some there on Holly Lane.
Yeah, that's a good point. There have been some community groups who have just been volunteering their time. Church groups, I know our community groups going back on Thursday. The scouts will be filling sandbags Thursday night.
Let's just hope you have
Yeah.
that, because
Ah.
this weekend they ran out of sand.
Corey delivered 60 more tons to the rodeo grounds.
Okay, so
Okay,
they're
they said-
I would
hopefully.
say it was pretty low when I looked at it the other day.
Yeah, because they were gonna run out of sand before they ran out of bags.
He had hauled, I think he said 45 tons, and then he hauled another 60 yesterday, so,
We should have lots of sand.
yes,
I know he's done two loads before
before,
the
yes.
third one,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't believe that there was that many people that wanted sandbags. Is there groups or anything organized or whatever that are wanting to put bags?
Yeah,
And they're always capable.
A lot of church
A lot
groups
of
are doing
church
it, I know
groups.
that.
Scouts are doing it.
Scouts are doing it, so
Mark
yes.
DuPont group,
Fantastic.
they were gonna do it this weekend, but I
Awesome.
don't think there was enough sand. So he's gonna do it this weekend, so we're gonna have to bring more sand.
I'll email you with like exact location,
That would be nice.
okay, and then you can let them know.
Yes,
But the easiest directions is the dumpsters on Holly Lane
Okay.
at the ball fields or
Rodeo
rodeo
grounds.
grounds, whatever you wanna call it.
Mhm.
Because people were going the other side and there's no bags and that's arena sand. That's not sand for.
Oh, no bags over
But
there.
then they were freaking out because there was no bags, and I'm like, well, that's not our sand.
Yeah, it's actually go up Holly Lane and turn into the dumpster zone.
Yeah.
Almost need to get a sign like they have at the dump saying, this is the sand.
Here's your,
Don't-
here's your sign.
Here's your sign.
Here's your sign.
I actually had a certain deputy take 2 pictures, and so I posted that and put, not this pile,
But this one, I actually saw that.
Yeah.
I quite liked it.
And I wonder who that deputy was.
Well, even he was like, there's no bags at this mound, I'm like,
Not
Not our
that,
sand.
that's not the one.
Well, that was my conversation this weekend with Jason Brown and Tyler,
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, I know there's bags
I
and.
wonder if it'd almost be advantageous to have even just a cheap sign, if we have to spray paint graffiti saying, this pile, this sand, it's right here.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure something out.
Because we know where it's at, but not everybody knows where it's at. If they don't know where it's at, it doesn't do any good.
Well, our emergency manager is home with his stomach flu, so he was gonna be here today, so he's sicker than a dog.
He's the one who asked if I was gonna be here, and I'm here, and so,
No, well, he called and asked to be excused, he's really sick. But I think, you know, we can't express enough that we've got a little window of time considering what the, temperature's supposed to be next week.
Yep.
Yes,
The water's coming down.
yeah, it's
And
supposed to be
that's
7 degrees.
good, that's a good temperature. So it'll stay there for a while and it comes down gradually. We want it to come down now and not all in June.
And another question I'm wondering is, several years ago when we were looking at where to put the water, I remember being out in Layho Lane area with Corey and Les about potentially putting some water out there at Layho area. Have we thought about that at all again, or any plans on that, where to put extra water if we need to?
Not specifically, because we didn't ask permission the last time, they just
Right.
cut a ditch out through the bill randomly.
You know, one was built out that way in 1983, I remember that.
Well, that's still open.
Yes, it is. In fact, it was that same canal that we were trying to push water across and put it out there, so. I don't know if there were.
Pretty sure it'll go there this year too, hopefully we just don't wash out the railroad tracks. Because you can only push so much that way, you run the risk of taking out the tracks.
You got a point, so. All right.
We gotta fill the reservoir first.
Yep.
Yeah, it will fill. And then you gotta put the rest somewhere else.
That's everybody else is gonna get irrigated. Beaver could take their water right now on the first.
Yeah. Not many sprinklers running yet.
No, there's a lot of flood irrigating, a lot of flood irrigating.
How much room is there in the reservoir right now as far as, how it's under?
We don't, Rocky Ford doesn't even have all their water yet.
Doesn't have any water yet.
No, no.
There's a lot.
Yeah, they don't have any
There's
water.
a lot of water, so.
And the water is shut off, I mean, like, there's very little water going into the reservoir right now.
The reservoir's
Beavers took it off.
at 36% capacity right now.
That's,
So there's a pretty good buffer in there, but we know it'll go quick once the water starts coming.
that's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you get 2,000 acre feet or whatever coming down, that's gonna fill in about a week.
Even that long. So,
We like a controlled runoff, and it will work out just fine.
We
We'll have
put
a
our
plan.
order to.
Yeah,
How we want it
well, we're
funded.
technically not in charge of that, but we'll try. Manage chaos.
Also, before Paul leaves, I want to say how awesome all the emergency people were yesterday with the mess on the freeway.
Thank you.
So, amazing job. It was crazy.
It was basically a parking lot out at milepost 121, the cars just came to a stop going northbound, so we closed the freeway to go north of Beaver for a little while. UDOT put it out as 5 hours, but we got it done in less than that. That's all. So, till the next episode.
Yeah, you guys can
Tonight.
just thank
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else on that? Any other discussion on that?
Just real quick, I drove the channel over here where these guys are cleaning, east of the, like Kirks's, and they've done a great job cleaning out the main channel, but they can only move that debris so far. Depending on how much water comes, that debris might end up in the bridges also. Is there a way, Tammy, we could get DNR to burn some of those piles? I talked to Les, and he was okay with it as long as we were able to man burning some of those. And I don't know that they will burn.
One of the operas are, yeah, I don't know.
Not today.
They've been down in the water too.
In that waterlogged.
I don't know. Forestry and Fire said that they might could do that as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And Corey wanted him to burn some over in the Milford Valley before he goes down and clean, just to get rid of those tumbleweeds. And Les was fine with that. He said if we can get some people there to do it, then he can kind of manage them and oversee them too. So when it gets dry enough to burn, then we can have maybe some of DNR can help us do that.
Yeah, I'll call Jamie and see what Forestry and Fire can do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Is that it on that?
I think so.
I'm gonna circle back around for just some old business really quick. Heidi, if you want to come up and discuss Paylocity for a few minutes.
Yeah, I just have two different options on contracts that we can enter with them to get this started. And I just wanted to give them to Vaughn to review, so you could take a look at them, and then if you're okay, the price is the same as what we talked about, it's the $13,440, but we have two different options available to us. We can do a 2-year lock, or we can just enter into a contract that can be, we can do it within any time that we want, and they can as well, with notice, right? There's some room for notice in there, so I just wanted him to review these for us, and then if he's okay with them, if you'd be all right with me, the DocuSign, if you'd be okay with me signing it once Vaughn approves and we decide which one's best.
I think I should sign it.
I think so too, and I
Yeah.
printed it so that you can, but the DocuSign only allows for, my signature, so I told him that, I said, we'll have a physical signature from the board, and then if you do that, I can do the DocuSign, or maybe I could have him resend it to you too. I'll see what he can do, maybe he could just resend it out to you.
I think legally only the chairman can
Yes, I knew
sign.
you had to sign it, and I told him that, I said, there's gonna have to be a physical signature from the chairman, but I do want Vaughn to review them to make sure he
Please.
doesn't have any questions or concerns about it.
How quickly do you need these done?
Just
Today?
when you can. Yeah,
Yesterday.
just bottom review, and
Yesterday.
they're very similar, just the terms in the back are a little bit different for the time, and that's all that I had, I just wanted.
Heidi, I do have a DocuSign created for Wade.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, I'll just see his email,
Huh?
so I can just have him send a DocuSign right to his email.
To mine, it's in, yeah, I can
Okay.
sign them that way too, if
Okay.
he approves. I have your DocuSign.
Okay.
Okay, when we decide, when we look at this, we talk about it and decide, then I'll send the ones that I,
And then I'll
so
get
that we're
with
not
you.
doing both of them.
So we probably
probably have to have Ron look at them, and maybe come back next commission meeting, and we'll approve the contracts.
Okay.
And then we'll sign it. Does that sound okay?
Okay, yeah, if we have to wait, we have to wait. We're trying to get
Is
it.
he ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go for July. We're trying to get everything ready to start doing payroll in July. And it's a big process, this next few months, and so we've got meetings started and scheduled to start rolling them over, so.
Do you have a recommendation?
I mean, what
My recommendation, was when we just signed the contract, that didn't lock us in for 2 years, was just gonna be.
We could approve it subject to my review.
That's what I was
Okay.
hoping to do, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
And not lock into a contract. They normally, if you haven't seen a price increase in 2 or 3 years, normally they see one that says 2 or 3% max. I've gone through these pretty detailed with them to make sure what we were getting before we entered into them, but I just want Ron to review them.
Thank you, Heidi.
So tell me again, so one is,
One is just locks us into a 2-year contract where we and them are both locked in. So it locks in the price, but it also locks us into going forward for 2 years.
okay,
The other one is just month to month, basically, with a notification. I mean, the information is ours and it stays with us, but there would be, there's some IT work that we're doing in this as well with Aaron. So my thoughts are, after the conversations that I've had with them, is that just not getting into the 2-year contract, because we're the first county government in Utah to do this. They are really investing a lot of effort into us and want to really make this work, because this could be huge for them. If this works with us, there's like my HR emails are blowing up every day with, what are you doing? How are you working this? Who are you using? There has to be a better option, right? And so I think if they get us and they get this going for us, so there's a ton of value for them in that. And so for us, they want to make this work. They're bending over backwards to make this work with us, so we can do it right. So they're going to take care of us.
is this a yearly contract, or is it, we're going to start in July, so is it going to go to July, or what?
You have the option of 2 years or 1 year.
Yes, right, yes. And the 1-year one we can get out of basically at any time with just a little bit of notice, so they have time to stop what they're doing and we have time to pick up what we're doing.
I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, I mean, 13.4, is that for an entire year? 'Cause so
Yes,
we really,
that's an annual
I mean,
contract.
budget-wise, because ours is going to be in.
And it's already budgeted for this year.
Okay, so,
Yes,
okay.
yes, that was already budgeted for, we planned for it, yeah. Just for the
Well, so
next
your
several
recommendation is not do the 2-year, just do the one for now, and then
It
see
is,
how it goes.
it is. And after Vaughn reviews them, or while he's reviewing them, he has questions, he can give me a call, we can go over kind of what.
All right.
We know there's gonna be a few road zones getting
Right.
implemented, but I think we need to stick with it at least a year to.
I do too. I don't see us going anywhere. Honestly, the way that it looks and what we're getting with this system, I'm super excited about it. I think there's a ton of potential, and I feel the same way. I'm not just blindly thinking this is going to be perfect and amazing. I know there's going to be some things we have to work through, but there are other government agencies using it out of the state that are very happy with what they're getting. So this is just new for you.
Well, I know your initial presentation, you might, I think it was really good, and maybe with a few minor adjustments or adaptations, just in us, I can't think it could be done again.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, 100
Yeah, I'll make a motion that after Ron's assessment, that we approve this and sign the contract.
And I would have them over to you sooner. I just got the second one today. I didn't know we had 2 options, and so I said, let us look at it, let the commissioner say that choice, and so anyway.
It's all good, we're gonna make it work.
And I should say for the 1-year contract, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Thank you. Keith, do you have anything for us today? Thanks for coming.
Thanks, good to be here.
How was your road?
Nothing to report, really?
A little bit shady.
Yeah,
You got nothing?
Good.
supposed to head down that way, I'm not too sure I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you know, the building conference?
Yeah, we got a UX meeting this afternoon.
Yeah. I'll be there.
I'm trying to talk myself out of it. I really wanted to be, you know what they did to us this morning? They had a ceremonial signing of SB 175
Where?
at the roadshow in St.
St.
George.
George?
I'm like, really?
No one's by?
Yeah, they told us, but I can't be there. Like a
Commission
meeting.
Shoot.
You can't do it tonight?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Nothing, Ed?
No, this has been the last time I checked in as an employee of Senator Mike Lee.
Blows my mind.
Yes,
What?
Well, thank you for all your service.
absolutely. I'll still be around. I'm
Did you and Kelsey coordinate these exit strategies?
No. No.
Well, we'll miss you.
Yes, we will miss you.
Yeah, I'll still be around, but.
You've been very helpful for Senator Lee and for us.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, because I'll still be calling you after you get out of here. Hey, which reminds me, we got our passports in the mail yesterday.
Oh, good. Good deal.
And it wasn't because I didn't light a few fires.
I'm sure.
I'm still waiting for mine to come. Your passport? Oh, your renewal?
I did the pilot, the renewal pilot online.
Oh, crap.
I'm not
there?
for you, actually.
Oh, well, these guys, we,
And they just
trash
changed
talk,
it.
anyway, they went through Romney's office to, double check, well, they didn't really double check, and so then I lit the fire last week, and, I'm like, the least you could do is call and just tell us either yes or no. I mean, I don't care if they get here or they don't, I mean, prefer they get here, but, just give us a yes or no. They wouldn't even do that, they weren't even checking on that part of it. And, yeah, they expedited, they did all of
You
it.
expedited in the beginning?
Yeah, so it was 8 weeks this week. And, but anyway, they finally called. They said, well, maybe we should call. I said, you think you should call? Maybe that's a good idea. And within 20 minutes, they said they'll have them in the mail on Tuesday. They FedEx them, they were there yesterday. So.
Good. Quite job.
Anyway, thanks for your help, though. I appreciate it. Maybe it helped to know that Lee was gonna help.
Before I go into a closed session, Ginger, do you have anything? Councilor?
No, thank you.
Stephanie? Either of you two?
Oh, I'm done.
Okay. We're gonna go into a closed session.